No taxation without representation has become a notorious phrase in the history of democratic development. No taxation without representation was the rallying cry of the inhabitants of the initial 13 colonies that formed what we today know as United States when they were revolting against imposition of heavy taxes by the British Parliament, a parliament that they felt they were not represented in. And this is essentially what set in motion what eventually came to be recorded in history as the American Revolution. That American Revolution or War of Revolution started in 1775, and by the time we get to 1777, the delegates were meeting in a place called Philadelphia, drafting what again we today know as American Constitution. I give you this history because in the course of that struggle, one person gained national recognition and attention, called Patrick Henry, when he said, "Give me liberty or give me death." I give you this long story to underscore the place we are in today as a country. The budget process is almost coming to an end. The finance bill has been published. A year ago, at a time like this, finance bill had brought in a lot of anxieties across the country. And by the time we were getting to June 25th, as you all remember, is that young people anxious about their future decided to overrun Parliament, storm it in an attempt to reclaim their voices from the MPs whom they felt had decided to become tools of the executive. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to speak about the finance bill, and I am Kidi Mwaga from Politikali Konekted. Thank you. What is the finance bill? Is it the budget? Or is the budget finance bill? Why is it published every year? Why can't we have finance bill published once? So this takes me to the budget making process. The budget making process ordinarily begins around August and September, where at the initial stage, usually there is a review of how the previous budget is performing, how resources are being absorbed. From there, that is in August. By the time we get to September, October, we move to what is called MTEF. What MTEF does is that then you review not only the budget, but how then the budgeting should take place in the following financial year. When you move from MTEF, then there is what we call the sector working groups. So in the sector working groups, it means that each sector identifies what are their priorities. For instance, if it is education sector, is it that we need more classrooms, or we need more books, or we need more teachers? If it is, say, it is the security sector, do we employ more police reservists, or we employ more regular police, or what type of training should we give to the police? So it is within the sector working groups that then the budget estimates are being drafted, usually only with the guidance of the National Treasury, so that the budget making process as envisaged under the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and the Public Finance Management Act 2012 is a participatory process. I call it a participatory process Because remember, if you go to the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Article 10 provides for what is called national values and principles of governance. And one of the national values and principles of governance is public participation. Public participation, as envisaged by the Constitution, should not only be a word. It should be seen in action. And so this is part of why we retooled our budget making process into this participatory process, moving away from how it was done before. The minister would come to parliament holding the briefcase, and we wouldn't know what is in the briefcase, so we would wait for him to read, and the following day we would scramble for newspapers to understand what is in the budget. We moved away from that. And today, if you see this cabinet secretary for treasury holding briefcase to parliament, usually it is for the symbolic gesture, in observance of that tradition that we had become accustomed to. But ordinarily, there is nothing in that briefcase because the budget was made elsewhere. Permit me to dive deep into the question of the finance bill. What is a finance bill? The finance bill is the tool through which the government raises revenue within each financial year. The finance bill usually indicates where the government wants to introduce new taxes or reduce taxes. There are two bills that are usually published together. There is a finance bill which says where the money is going to come from to finance that year's budget, and there is an appropriation bill that shows how that money is going to be spent. So about the finance bill is that then when it is published, usually it ordinarily raises taxes. There are instances when it might lower taxes. And now let us look at the Finance Bill 2025. Finance Bill 2025, as opposed to Finance Bill 2024, is raising no new taxes. Part of why it is raising no new taxes is that the Kenyan economy, in spite of the resilience we have witnessed in the past couple of years, is in a fairly volatile space. And the volatility comes from the problems around debt. If you look at our debt portfolio, today it is standing at around 11 trillion. That 11 trillion translates into about 65% of the GDP. When it is 65% of the GDP, it means that for every 10 shillings collected, we pay almost 7 shillings goes into debt. And debt, is a first charge. So that for all the money we collect and take to the consolidated fund, the first obligation we have to meet is debt. So when we say spend 7 shillings on debt, that leaves us with only 3 shillings, to run government, to do capital expenditure, among other things. It does not require rocket science to figure out that money is therefore not enough. This has placed us in a less than elegant fiscal headspace. Those are some of the problems that the Finance Bill 2025 is trying to deal with in the short term by attempting to make sure that we move from 65% GDP to debt ratio to bring it back to 57%. So then, what is the Finance Bill again? As we are going to discuss Finance Bill from now until mid-June or late June, I want you to remember that this is the piece of legislation through which government raises revenue. As we will be diving deep into its general provisions and what it provides, say, for the digital economy, for the retirees, for the agriculture sector, because remember that primarily one thing we should achieve is the question of being in a better fiscal headspace. How do we get there, and how is Finance Bill 2025 suggesting that? a reading of the finance bill, I have had the good fortune of reading it. There is a greater focus on efficiency around tax administration. And what is efficiency around tax administration? It means that the government, while not raising taxes, is making sure that the taxes that ordinarily it should collect, it is able to collect it efficiently and on time, so that then that money is available to help us manage our matters around budget. I am avoiding using the fiscal headspace, but yes, when that happens, and that is important because remember, AGOA, which has been a treaty in allowing us to ship our goods to the American market, is coming to an end in October. President Donald Trump has also instituted what is now known as the tariff wars. These two things are going to impact Kenya's economy negatively. In preparation for such external shocks, if we enhance efficiency around our tax administration, we can be able to face such challenges without so much worry. Join me next week as we dive deep into the finance bill and especially the specific provisions. Thank you. Join us again next week.
Wait. Before we continue, I have a question for you who's watching. Why haven't you subscribed to our podcast? This is a podcast for everything politics and governance that concerns you. So hit the subscribe button. You can also hit the notification bell of our YouTube channel so that you never miss an episode. We are on YouTube, we're on Spotify, and we're on Apple Podcasts. You can find this podcast anywhere you want. And follow us on social media. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X, formerly Twitter. It doesn't cost you anything. It will take literally a minute. Make sure you also share this video because hii si kitu ya kuwatch peke yako. Share it on your WhatsApp groups and let's stay connected. Haya sasa, let's go on.